Well, it's an end of an era. Heung-min Son has played his last game for Tottenham Hotspur after over 10 years at the club. So many goals, so many memories, a trophy, and personal accolades as well. He has played his final game as Tottenham drew 1-1 against Newcastle United out in Seoul in South Korea in front of a packed crowd full of Son's biggest and best fans. But it's quite a somber mood because not only has Son played his last game, we have suffered a major injury setback, which leaves me a bit worried heading into the new season, and now means that Daniel Levy has to address a massive issue that I've noticed, so far under Thomas Frank's tenure. I've been impressed so far, but there's one glaringly obvious thing that I've noticed that I think we need to sort out. But before we go any further, if you are new to the Central Spurs YouTube channel and you'll discover me here today, then get down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're just over 100 subs away from hitting 9k, and if we can get towards 10k by the end of 2025 and the start of the new season, I will be forever grateful. And let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of the game? How are you feeling about Son? What are your best memories of Heung-min Son? And what do you make of the injury? Are you worried now heading into the new season, which only starts in 2 weeks' time? Well, and before that, we play PSG in the Super Cup. So that's not going to go well. But let's start off with talking about Son. Obviously, his final game for Spurs. And, it was one of those ones where it was a weird atmosphere, the game, because it did feel like a testimonial in the sense of, there was a buoyant atmosphere. There was Korean fans playing the trumpet, and it was all quite like that. But there was some feisty moments on the pitch. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes grabbing Romero by the throat was very strange. I think Newcastle, even without Alexander Isak up front, they still look quite good as a counter-attacking team. And from my point of view, I think Son, there was moments where he was going for goal where he maybe should have passed it. It was all quite like, I've seen testimonials like this down the years where it's all quite casual and people are just going through the motions and that. It was probably one of the only games where I couldn't take too much from it, in the sense of, from the Arsenal and Reading games that I watched, there was a lot of promising signs. Whereas from this, it's like a bit of an anomaly in the season because Son started, it was all framed around that. But gut is, the scenes of him, the pictures of him, and I put one in the thumbnail of him, hugging all the players, the staff, waving to the fans, getting emotional on the bench. I mean, how can you hate this guy? He is just such a class player. I did a reaction yesterday to Son leaving Spurs and calling him a Premier League legend. So go back and watch that after you've watched this one. But moving on now to how I thought the game was. And as I say, it was a bit of a tricky one to really, come to a conclusion of what I really make of it. All I say is, looking at the stats, I mean, we had a lot less possession, 38%, to Newcastle 62%, but very similar to Arsenal. When Newcastle were attacking, I feel more comfortable watching it. I don't feel as like we're going to concede as much. They had 12 shots, but only 2 on target. So apart from the goal, which was really well worked from Harvey Barnes, really good shot. Maybe Kinski could have done better. We look better as a defensive unit. I'm 100% behind. We look better as a defensive unit. Our goal comes from really good press from Kevin Danso, who then gives it to Brennan Johnson, who, tucks it away, takes deflection off Dan Burn, which goes past Nick Pope. I thought that was very well worked goal. Defensively, I think we're really good. And adding João Palhinha to this midfield as well, I'm quite comfortable with how we are as a defensive unit, which is surprising considering what we've come from under Ange Postecoglou. My one worry now, and this links to James Maddison, who, as we saw, got injured in the latter stages of the game. Just an off-the-ball incident. He's, I think, a sharp movement, and he's tweaked something. We'll obviously have to hear from Thomas Frank to hear what that issue is. But my one worry now, especially with Son leaving, is Spurs' attack and creativity. Because at the moment, James Maddison has just come back from an injury, and we've seen him now get injured again. Dejan Kulusevski is a way off. We were looking at signing Morgan Gibbs-White, and obviously that hasn't happened, and he would have been a great creative spark for that team. When it comes to creativity now, the only creativity from midfield I see so far has been Schar playing in the 10. He scored 3 goals, but he's not as reliable consistently in that area. Lucas Bergvall, but he's playing a bit deeper in that role. And then when we look at the attack now, when we have Mohamed Kudus, who came on in a latter stage, Richarlison's still there. Solanke obviously is injured at the moment. Tell, Odebear, Brennan Johnson. Can we hang all our hopes? Because at the end of the day, there are goals there. Don't get me wrong, there are goals there. But when you take someone out like Son, when you take creativity out of this team, are we getting enough chances? Because if you look at it, 7 shots, 5 on target is good, but there was not one moment there where I think we really had really clear-cut opportunities. Same against Arsenal. I feel like Arsenal, we got to be more clinical, I'd say, in certain areas of the field, because I guess we're going to have less chances and less, attacking. With Ange Postecoglou, it was bombard. But under Frank, he's going to be a bit more strategic of knowing when to attack. But we've got to be clinical in those areas, because a perfect point was Brennan Johnson playing through Tell. I don't know who he was one-on-one with, but they slipped over, and Tell has literally the whole of the Newcastle half to go at Pope. He does a step over, and Pope saves it with his leg. And it's in those moments in the Premier League, you've got to finish your dinner. You've got to be more clinical. I'm not expecting us to win games, 3-4, 5-6 nil or whatever. But it's those moments where a 1-1 becomes 2-1, 3-1. You've got to be really clinical. And I think that's always been an issue with Spurs. When we can get goals, just keep, there was a few opportunities under Ange Postecoglou where you would run away with it, but there are moments where when we're already 2-0 up and you're able to put teams to the sword, but it's those moments, those fine margins where it's you've got to kill a game off there. And hopefully Thomas Frank's going to change that. And I think adding set pieces into it, and as I say, knowing when to attack and being clinical. I just worry that because I'm coming up in the next couple of weeks, I feature on a few of Satchel Lab has done some massive videos where it's 20 Premier League fans. I'm the Tottenham representative, basically, arguing certain things. And I was arguing that I think Tottenham have one of the best attacks in the league, depth-wise. But what we need to make sure Solanke's firing on all cylinders. Tell, Odebear, Johnson are doing as well as they were. Johnson getting as many goals as he was. Kudus coming in and, making an impact. We've got to make sure we're, just really good. I think the attack is fine. I just worry creativity wise. Are we going to be able to, have someone who's going to be delivering crosses and balls? Maybe Pedro Porro, that comes from him. That's where my worries come from when it comes to Spurs this season. But you have to let me know in the comments down below whether you think I'm barking up the wrong tree. Are there other areas you're worried about? Or, do you think we'll be all right? And finally, going back to Son, as you can see, this was the shirt. It's got Kane on the back, but this is the shirt that he wore during his first season at the club. And I just want to say again, a massive thank you to that player, because Son has been an absolute Spurs icon. He's a hero of mine. One of my favourite players I've seen in a Spurs shirt. He has just been phenomenal. And again, when he lifted that Europa League trophy in Bilbao a few months back now, he's amazing. He's the personification of Spurs. I said this all in my video yesterday, but yeah, I wanted to say a massive thank you. But let me know all your best memories in the comments down below. And what are you making of Thomas Frank's pre-season? So now we've got to play Bayern Munich on Thursday. I'll be wrapped into that and doing a video on Thursday evening. We've then got the Super Cup against PSG, and then the first game of the Premier League season against Burnley. So it's all kicking off, and it's all, we're all getting there when it comes to piecing it all together. Undefeated in pre-season, not a bad thing. There's some good points and bad points, but I think overall I'm very happy with Thomas Frank's start to life for Tottenham Hotspur. But I just wanted to air those sort of issues and wonder if any of you other Spurs fans think the same. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, little reaction. Leave your like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm closing on 9,000 subs. Would love you to join me on this journey. But until next time, up the Spurs, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. Ciao.